So I give you the floor. Pound the table for John Lynch for any of the Pro Football Hall of Fame selectors that are out there. Why was Lynch Hall of Fame worthy to you?
Tampa 2 cannot be played in the new NFL. You can't command the middle of the field and dominate the middle of the field like we did with me, Brooks, and Lynch. I'm a dinosaur. Brooks is a dinosaur. Lynch is also a dinosaur. Where do dinosaurs belong? In the museum. And what is the Hall of Fame? A museum. So can you put my dinosaur in the museum?
I'm taking it as a compliment because I know the love he has for me. In terms of what kind of dinosaur I am, I don't know.
Definitely be the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He would be at the top of the food chain.
Charge forward, charge hard. And whatever he hits is going down.
It's cool being in here. I didn't know why we were coming to the Natural History Museum, but now I understand it. Thank you, Warren, once again.
You gonna be a football player when you grow up?
Today is the best day of your life. Believe
Give
it.
me 18 years of daylight. That's all I
Greatest leader I've ever known.
What a ride it's been.
Get physical with them all day long. We get physical with them. We ain't backing down from anyone.
You know, the good news was a knock. The bad news was a phone call. I received the phone call 7 times. On my 8th year, we're at our house watching the championship game. And this loud knock, and it was a complete shock to me.
What's up? Oh, my gosh.
Hey, I think that's a knock you've been waiting for, isn't it?
Are you serious, David?
So it is my great privilege, on behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, to welcome you to Canton, Ohio.
You know, I thought I always had great perspective that, you know what, I gave it all I had on the field, and whether I made it or not, it wouldn't matter. It's not going to change my life, but my gosh, this feels life-changing right now.
John Lynch waited a long time to hear the knock on his door. He spent a career delivering knocks no one had heard before.
The sound of a John Lynch hit.
It was a thud. It was like a sledgehammer hitting a piece of wood. Boom, boom, bam.
Whoa! There's an extra bit of force and explosion that it almost sounds like there's no cloth between the pads. If you take 2 pads and slam them together, but then you put jerseys on them, it doesn't sound the same. The John Lynch hit sounds like there's no cloth. It's unmistakable.
There's a play that I can remember. We were playing the Chicago Bears in Tampa. Marty Booker ran an interior seam. John got there right about the time of the ball.
John Lynch depleted him, but Marty Booker hangs on.
But hang on there, Marty.
It struck me, man, because it was legitimately a month before we saw somebody even attempt to put that ball into that space again, because the physicality of that hit.
John Lynch gave him a heck of a hit.
The manner in which John played, you know, it echoed. It was on tape. His reputation preceded him, and that reputation was well earned.
I loved the physical part of the game. I always did. From the first time, I believe the first Pop Warner game I ever played in, running over a linebacker and just feeling how good that felt. Some people look at me, how's that feel good? But it did.
As a boy growing up in Southern California, John Lynch was good at hitting things.
Where he really distinguished himself was on the baseball field. Most home runs anybody had ever hit in San Diego was 8. He had 21 his 12-year.
Young John Lynch wanted to be just like another John, who also could hit a baseball.
John Elway was just my absolute idol. I had his poster. I wore 7 because John Elway wore 7. I wore Mizuno shoes because John Elway wore Mizuno shoes.
I used to walk around Torrey Pines High School, you know, pigeon-toed with my chest out, walking like John.
Just asked him once, I said, what are you doing with your legs? As he came into the room, he said, well, somebody said I could get legs like that if I practice. And I said, well, I don't think that's a very good thing to do. He just thought John Elway was someone to look up to.
The guy who walked like John Elway followed in his footsteps to Stanford. And just as Elway did, played 2 sports there.
John came as a highly ranked quarterback, a kind of blue chip quarterback. I think if you talked to him today, he would say he still could have been one of Stanford's greats at quarterback.
He was our backup quarterback, and I was a backup receiver, so got a chance to catch some balls from him at different times. But I'll never forget, we were not winning a game, and John got subbed in, and then he scrambled. And here comes the safety, and John put his right foot in the ground and just demolished him. And it was the first time I heard that John Lynch smack. That's when we knew, like, this guy was physical. And if he ever played on the defensive side, you know, who knows what that would have been like.
Coming up, how a Hall of Fame coach helped turn a backup quarterback into a Hall of Fame safety.
Old Track.
After toiling as a backup for 2 years, John Lynch realized he was not going to be the next John Elway as a quarterback at Stanford.
I've never quit at anything, but I'm tired of not playing, and I'm kind of feeling like baseball's starting to take off.
Lynch got that one and got all of it.
And if football's not going to happen, maybe I should go focus on baseball, because I know I want to be a professional at one of these sports. Went in there to Denny Green. I said, just put me on the field, coach. I want to play, you know. And if I don't, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. I know I'm on football scholarship. I'm just going to go play baseball. And he listened, you know, which I'm very appreciative to, and came out of his office as safety that day.
As a junior, Lynch made the occasional big hit, but he was more skilled at preventing them. And in 1992, he was drafted by the expansion Florida Marlins.
Gary Hughes, he was the personnel director for the Florida Marlins, who, by the way, had drafted John Elway.
Lynch, John Lynch, one I'm listed as a right-handed pitcher from Stanford University.
I remember being in their fraternity house at Stanford and getting the call that I was the second pick of the Florida Marlins and saying, wow, we got some decisions to make.
Good going, guy. Good going.
As a member of the minor league Erie Sailors, Lynch threw the first pitch in the history of the Marlins organization.
The Hall of Fame was there. Every pitch I would throw, they'd come out, they'd take my hat, they'd take my jersey, and you know, the running joke is the first 7 pitches were balls, so it took a while to get a strike. My mind was really focused on my career in baseball. Out of nowhere, like one day they announced the new head football coach at Stanford. I get a call from Bill Walsh, you know, saying that he wants to talk to me. I really thought it was my buddies playing a prank.
When I took the job, I was really looking for a Ronnie Lott type safety.
He said, look, I watched the tape, and you're our best defensive player. I want you back. You can be a Pro Bowl safety in the NFL. And it blew my mind. I mean, like, where is this coming from? I understand there's salesmanship and recruiting, but, man, the greatest coach, the genius, he's just lying to my face, you know? Not only had he watched the tape, he had made a tape. It started with Ronnie Lott. I said, now, why is he showing me Ronnie Lott? And then he showed a very similar play that I had made the year before.
Bill Walsh, the salesman, had closed the deal. And soon after, Lynch was back at Stanford to play his senior year of football.
I remember, like, one of Coach Walsh's first days in practice, looking over, and there's a Mercedes, and on the front, using the windshield as their backrest, there's Joe Montana and Ronnie Lott watching us practice. Ronnie said, hey, man, I've been watching. You know, he started talking to me about hitting people, and he went into this concept of hitting through people. And he talked about visualizing and seeing 4 people, and he's trying to hit through to that 4th guy. Ronnie kind of gave me that thought. I became a better football player that day.
Pitch McFadden, no! There is a heck of a crash.
You know, reminds me of another guy. Ronnie Lott used to do a lot of that.
The former backup quarterback became an All-American safety.
Intercepted. John Lynch is going to take it in. Touchdown, Stanford.
And he saved his best performance for college football's biggest stage.
They were Titans out there. That game against Notre Dame, John Lynch was the best player on the field.
Jerome Bettis, oh, what a hit by Lynch. A fumble on the play, and Stanford has it.
That play against Bettis, I think, for me, goes down in the annals of things I remember about Stanford football.
This is Brooks to the outside. Lynch is there again.
What a ball game that John Lynch is having.
Meyer goes the other way, and it's intercepted in the end zone. John Lynch, who else, runs out of bounds at the 25-yard line. He's having the game of a lifetime.
You keeps playing like this, he's going to have to give up that baseball career.
He has been all over the place, and we will be happy to make that young man our player of the game.
But I'll never forget, we beat Notre Dame, and being in the Notre Dame locker room, taking a leak next to Coach Walsh, and him saying, "Can you believe this? Newt Rockne probably beat here. You know, we just beat Notre Dame."
Walsh had an appreciation for football's past, and perhaps before anyone else, he saw greatness in Lynch's football future.
Let's go, John Lynch. Welcome to the NFL. You deserve to be here. You really do.
I didn't know much about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just knew they were the worst team in sport. Bill Walsh called Sam Weish and said, "You have to take this guy." And so they took me in the 3rd round, and I went and started to try to realize my dream.
He didn't go alone. Lynch went from a pro baseball player to a pro football player in a matter of months. His personal life was evolving just as quickly.
John and I were dating, I think, 4 months before we got engaged.
Throughout high school, being a shy kid, you know, my dad and mom would always say, "Well, John, any girls you're interested in? What are you looking for?" And I said, "Man, if I just find someone like Linda Allred."
In high school, we didn't spend a lot of time together. I'm 2 years older than him.
My wife used to sit over there, so I tried to position myself close over here. Actually, we didn't date in high school, but I always had an eye on her.
And his sister and I were roommates in college.
Linda was a tennis player at USC.
Linda and I always had a friendship. When she was playing tennis up at Stanford, I'd always go watch.
He was so shy, he would never stay to the end of my match to say hi to me.
My dad encouraged me, and it was, I remember one time vividly going like, "Well, what is it?" And I said, "Well, again, if I could just find, I'm looking for someone perfect. I want someone like Linda Allred." My dad goes, "Hey," I won't say it on air, but like, "Hey, dumb, you know what? How about Linda Allred?" And I was like, wow, yeah, maybe he's right. He actually invited her to a dinner, and the rest is history. Thank God she said yes. She's the best thing that ever happened to me.
John, congratulations on your upcoming marriage. I hope you have a good game plan for it, much as you had as a player for Stanford. You were one of the greatest players ever put on a Stanford uniform, and I hope you have the same kind of successes with the...
We're glad to have you with us. There's a lot of excitement around One Buccaneer Place. You know, this is Sam Weich's 2nd preseason camp. He feels very good about this team, says it's well ahead of where the club was at this time last year.
Let's go, John Lynch.
You know, it's the first preseason game of my career. The Denver Broncos came to Tampa. It was John Elway, who was my idol. They started me that game. It was the first snap, and like I had said, I had idolized John Elway. I'd met him a couple times, but I figured no way he remembers me. And I'm lining up, and I remember I'm right over here to his right. He goes, "Red 98, Red 98," and he winks, and he goes, "Johnny Lynch." and I was like, oh my. Came and found me after the game. I was sheepish. I wasn't going to go up to John Elway. He came and found me and just wished me luck, and you know, I'll never forget that.
If John Lynch wasn't ready to start his NFL career after words of encouragement from his longtime idol, he received reassurance from the person about to take the journey with him.
Linda and I now were engaged, and very first game, you know, I get to the hotel and I'm unpacking my stuff, and bam, there's a note.
I always saw my parents writing notes, and it was just natural for me. I just believed in him so much, and I wanted to share just the belief I had in him and just let him take a moment to recognize really how capable he was and how prepared he was and how he was the guy for the job.
Linda's inspiring notes to John became a hallmark of his career.
It got to a point where he wouldn't want to leave the house unless he had a note. And I said, oh gosh, I got to make sure I have the note.
There were a couple times I couldn't find the note. And back in the day, she had to fax it, or, you know, there was no email because I just didn't feel right until I had read that, and it became very much part of my routine, and she never missed a game. It's unbelievable.
Early on, Linda's notes were a source of positive reinforcement when Lynch needed it most.
Here I am on the Bucs. We aren't winning. We're still known more for our futility and folly than we are for being a big-time organization. Then I was a special teams player struggling to get on the field. I remember one time specifically calling my agent at the time and just going, man, is there any chance I get back with the Marlins, you know, because this isn't working out.
I think there was a creeping thought, especially after year 2. Hey, he could be a wasted draft pick. This guy could be a bust.
With Lynch's future in Tampa in question, defense was a priority in the 1995 draft. The new Bucks were well aware of what Lynch brought to the field.
Me and Brooks get drafted. I'm 12th and Brooks is 28. 2 first-round picks. I walk in the building and I see Lynch. I say, "You that white boy be knocking out of people, man." And he looks at me like, "What?"
And so, and Brooks said to me, "You ready to go to work?" And I said, "Let's do it."
That first year, we were trying to find our way, and I think at that time of John's career, he was trying to find his way as well.
Lynch felt his career was ready to take off, but still in a backup role, he needed to do something to get the attention of his new coaches.
I remember him, my first days there, kind of frustrated. I'm not getting to use my abilities. I can do more for this team.
At practice one day, I was pouting, and I got the ball, and something got into me. I was being a petulant little baby, and I just fired it as hard as I could. Herm was standing only like 10 yards.
And I'm kind of turned like this, and the ball's coming this way, and I see it, and I went, bam, and I caught it. And he goes, and he kind of looks at me like, and I said, "You all right?" And so it caught him by surprise, you know, that because if I didn't catch it, I'm probably not sitting here. I'm out. So I catch it, and I know at that point, I said, he's mad, and I know what he's mad about. He's thinking like, okay, here I go again. I'm gonna be the backup guy. You know, I want to play. We have this talk. And at the end, I tell him, "John, remember one thing. The cream always rises to the top. You just keep being John Lynch, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be the defensive captain." And he looked at me like, "What?" I said, "You're gonna be the defensive captain. I promise you. Because of what you bring to the table." They voted him the defensive captain. He ended up being the starter, and
that was a career changer for me because my mindset changed. And sometimes I think the lesson is it takes other people to believe in you before you can actually believe to that level in yourself. From that day forward, we became like family.
Lynch became the embodiment of a defense gaining a reputation for its physical style of play. The Bucks offense had its own big hitter, running back Mike Allstott.
it was 2 guys that were physical players for us.
Those 2 loved contact.
Practice presented a problem.
We were in the throes of a competitive practice, offense and defense, yapping and talking, and it came to a big situation. Here I come, here Allstott, our eyes met, and bam. It was like Rocky and Apollo, where they hit each other and they both kind of staggered and then went down.
These are 2 of our best players. We have to stop this.
John, let him run. Let him run.
Never again, you 2. Off limits. You 2 do not hit each other in practice.
John was just like he was in this zone. You know, he would get in the zone and it was like, I'm playing football.
Losing was long the Buccaneers' calling card. In the late 90s, the defense delivered a new message.
He was crunched, and that was John Lynch.
I just loved that I was asked to do a little bit of everything. You had to have a skill to be able to do that, and that's something I think I had some versatility to my game that really found the perfect scheme.
Floating on him, picked off, intercepted Johnny Lynch.
In 1999, the Bucks followed Lynch's lead to their first NFC Championship game in 20 years.
Hey, take these guys 15 rounds. 15 rounds. They're not gonna. They can't go toe-to-toe with us for 60 minutes. Let's win this game. 1, 2.
We ended up getting to the NFC Championship. We're playing an offense who was the greatest show on turf. Sure enough, we held them intact.
6-5 score. Bucks lead by 1.
Defensive battle. We got a defensive battle.
There's a few plays I have kind of these nightmares, that show up every now and then. Kurt Warner to Ricky Prohl in the corner of the end zone. That was one of them.
Pass to the far sideline. It is caught out. Touchdown to put the Rams in the lead.
That was one of the most intense battles that I've ever played in. We had a team capable of winning a Super Bowl that year, but we didn't finish the deal. And that one hurts to this day.
Just keep climbing.
Coming up,
Come on, John, get up there.
John Lynch continues his climb towards a championship.
Wells can. Come on, John, get up there. Get up there.
Started 15 years ago when I was in high school, working out, and we kind of came upon an equestrian center down where they were growing tomatoes. So we nicknamed this the Tomato Patch, and we constructed one here at the school. Here we are, guys. I still get butterflies every time I come do this workout. Workout one, guys?
Sure.
All right, let's hit it. It starts like this, and you just go here. Oh, hips don't work like they used to. Go ahead.
Okay.
And it's just old playground mentality, you know, going under things, going over things. Job, Leah. Mom still got it.
You're sinking.
Pete Agoscu, former Marine, understands the body as well as anyone.
Pete used to hurt us so bad here, in a good way. And it wasn't just football players, it was tennis players like Linda, it was parents. I mean, everybody'd come work out, get your body able to endure and thrive. Whatever your sport, we'll give it a go. Doesn't work like it used to. Lindsay, you were awesome. That's where you get the edge. Hurts, but you gotta do it. Come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on! Let's go! Let's go! Knock it! Now, let's go!
When he steps on that football field, it's a totally different person. You can see it in his eyes.
That guy that everybody loves and adores, you just gotta know that if we were born in between the lines, you were dealing with a different animal.
Gotta love John Lynch and that attitude. Hit the first available. Okay. Hit the first available.
The first guy that I was around that really mastered the control of that beast within.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
I named that animal 47 Red.
10 seasons into his career, 47 Red was dead focused on one thing.
The ultimate goal in this game, what you play for, is to win that ring. We feel like we have a team capable. I have felt like that the last couple of years, and we haven't succeeded in our pursuit of that. There's been some changes as a result. Coach Dungy, the guy who had really brought focus, brought a belief that we could win a championship to Tampa, he had been fired, and we took that personally. He had been fired because we hadn't been able to get over the hump.
What do you say, Captain?
They went and got John Gruden. There couldn't have been a more polar opposite to Tony Dungy.
Hey, I'm not gonna be a real patient guy now.
So here comes this outsider walking into our defensive room, and we were almost like, go coach those other guys. Like, we got this. You know, that preseason, he challenged us at one point. He said, I want 9 touchdowns from you.
We got to score. He challenged us. He challenged us. We got to score. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Turnover.
2002's best defense rose to the challenge.
It's intercepted. John Lynch said, that's my ball. Give it to me.
The defense forced 38 regular season turnovers. Their 6th score of the season sealed Tampa's first trip to the Super Bowl.
Nobody's going to touch him. Rodney Barber, touchdown. How about that? We're going to the Super Bowl.
We went to Philly, and we took it to them. But let me tell you something. We're not done yet. And we'll see you in San Diego. I love y'all.
We had finally got to the Super Bowl. All the perseverance that it took to get through my personal journey in the league and then our team's journey. And then it dawned upon me, you're going to do this in your hometown where you used to go watch the Chargers as a fan.
John graduated from Torrey Pines High School. One of your heroes was Danny Fouts. You've come full circle. What's it like to play in the Super Bowl in front of the home crowd?
It's a dream come true just to be in this game. I've worked 10 hard years to get to this point, and to do it in my hometown is something extra special.
Here we go, 9-9.
Let's go, man. Let's go. We've been working this for a long time. It's our opportunity.
Somebody that's sketching. Somebody that's sketching.
I like it. Let's go.
Get
It was #1 defense versus #1 offense. Everyone thought they were going to win. We knew we were going to win.
Their confidence came from preparation. Playing John Gruden's former team, Lynch and the Buccaneers learned the details of the Oakland Raiders offense and quarterback Rich Gannon's tendencies.
Remember how Gruden was telling us before, they call 2 plays? They're calling the 2 plays.
The defense played like they were inside Gannon's head.
Mike, every play they've run, we ran in practice. I know. It's unreal. Dexter, don't let him pull you with his pumps. We get to our landmarks.
You know, I knew the big thing that year. Gannon was he was a magician with his pump fakes here and then come back to the other side.
Hey, Sluggo seam.
Sure enough, it happened.
Blitz threatened, first down 10 from the 45. Gannon pump fake, looking to his right, throwing to his right. Intercepted! Dexter Jackson to the 40, to the 35, to the 50.
Dexter! Dexter, I told you, man! I told you, was it Sluggo seam? Dexter! They're too predictable. They're too predictable, we know them.
In the fourth quarter, the defense's 9th score of the season secured Tampa's first Super Bowl title.
To the house! Yeah, baby! Give me that! Give me that! We're world champs, baby!
Of all the years that I've played in the league, I just get so focused in the game. I'd never seen my family. Super Bowl day, I turn on the sidelines and boom, I see my family.
We see ya! First game I've ever been able to find my family. They're right behind me.
I saw John looking for Linda and Jakey, and it was just so cool to see him take him
Come on down.
and celebrate the way he did.
Buddy! We did it! We did it! Come on, baby. We did it.
Families give up so much when you're playing in this league, and they're so instrumental in the success. And so to be able to share that with your family, with your wife, with your son, with your parents, it was really, really cool.
I can't believe it. So happy for someone that has put so much into it, and to be able to do it in your home city with family there.
Did you have so much fun? It was the best, buddy. It was the best.
Being there in '93 when we were really bad, and then making it all the way there on top of the mountain, it was so vindicating. It was just incredible.
Up next, the Super Bowl champ faces a new challenge. John Lynch's 10-year drive to help the Buccaneers become champions climaxed with a celebration he hoped would never end.
We've come a long way. And now we're #1.
Just 1 year later, due to a neck injury and the salary cap, it did.
You know, I would just like to say to the people in Tampa that I'd like to say that I'll always be a Buccaneer. You know, I'll be playing someplace else next year, and I look forward to that, but I'll always be a Buccaneer.
For a guy who spent much of his life following in the footsteps of John Elway, there was a logical destination for the next stop on John Lynch's football journey.
When I show up to Denver, who's the first person to call and really welcome me to town? It was John Elway.
When I first had the opportunity really to meet John Elway, we were back at a Stanford reunion. He told me he really respected the way I played. And I couldn't say anything for a couple minutes, and all I could come up with was I wore Mizuno shoes because you did, you know, and he got a kick out of that.
Lynch had played for the Broncos for less than a month when he found himself back in Tampa.
Never forget walking in that stadium and not knowing what kind of welcome was I going to get. Was it going to be a welcome? Was it going to be booed?
This thing will be awesome today, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Have fun, give them what they want. People came to see you, man. It don't matter what hat you got on.
It's ball.
My first memory, vivid one, is me wearing my Bucs jersey back to Tampa when he was on the Broncos. I remember the entire place wearing 47 jerseys, too. That was the first time I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, that's my dad, and he's not even on this team, and everyone's still cheering him on.
I think actually on louder roar for John Lynch than when the Tampa Bay team was introduced.
Lynch proved you can go home again.
John Lynch comes up and clobbers him.
And for the first time in a long time, you can also hit Mike Allstott.
Here's the snap. A-Train tries to get outside. He's going to be pulled on down to the 40, a loss. And John Lynch, red run all the way.
Hell yeah! Yeah, John!
Keep that one in your memory bank. When you look back at the end of this game, that could be one of the deciding plays.
Oh, my God. Oh, this is so... Oh, how you doing? Never thought I'd see this day, man. Oh, man. I love you, man. Love you too, man. All right, man. Take care. All right. I'll see you in the morning, baby. I love you, man. Way to play, man. Way to play with pride. I love you. Thank you. All right.
Game ball, John Lynch.
I just want to say thank you, guys. Played 11 years here, and a lot of great memories, but this is my team, and I'm so proud of you guys, and thank you so much.
Either Linda gets it in there or I put it in there. I make sure it's in there.
The letters from Linda continued in Denver.
What's in here, I don't know. We'll open it up right before game time and carry on the tradition.
Okay, on behalf of my wife, Linda.
As did the charity work John and his wife started in Tampa.
I'd like to welcome everybody here.
One thing my parents were big on, you gave back to your community. It was a responsibility.
Oh, John Lynch, boy, how you like that?
And you can do it with your treasures, but the most important way to do it is with your time.
Merry Christmas, Selena.
With your heart and with your actions.
I think we're at, 197 students that we've given college scholarships to now, and I just never would have dreamed of that.
There's representation all over this country of people now in the workforce that we feel like we had a hand in, and I promise you I'm as proud of that as anything that I did on the field.
On the field in Denver, Lynch had much to be proud of.
So I'm talking about, yes! Yes!
John Lynch tackling from the secondary, he's still as good as there is.
When he became a Bronco, he switched from strong to free safety, where he continued to make game-changing plays.
Picked off by John Lynch. It was Lynch's jarring blow that forced the fumble. He is hit, lost the ball, it's loose in the end zone. It is a safety.
I was extremely happy to see him reinvent himself. Not just with a different team, but in another conference at another position, and still be as effective.
While a Bronco, Lynch remained close with those who had taught him so much in Tampa. And he went from student to teacher.
What's this referee's name? He's been doing it for years.
Call them by their first name, they love you. Really? Oh, yeah. Herm Edwards taught me that.
What's our official's name? Our referees?
Walt Coleman.
Walt. And your name?
Richard Reel.
Richard. All right.
Hey, I wish you the best of health and the best of luck all season.
Appreciate that, Richard. Thank you.
But Lynch himself was having to learn how to play in a new NFL, one with an emphasis on player safety that was trying to eliminate the kind of hits Lynch had delivered for many years.
You had this concept of lowering your target. You had to lower your target, but that's the league calling. They're finding me again.
It's up there. He cost me a lot of money with that flag. They don't care if it's a flag. I'm
thankful that the league's making that emphasis and putting such a big emphasis on it. You have to go to the thing that everyone sees, which are the big hits. I think at times they're asking you to do the impossible, though. I mean, like I used to tell them, your head is attached to your body, so where do you want it to go?
Where Lynch wanted to go was to another Super Bowl. That didn't happen, though the Broncos did reach an AFC championship game, and Lynch earned 4 Pro Bowl trips during his 4 years in Denver. Prior to the 2008 season, he decided to call it a career, or so he thought.
Bill Belichick starts calling and saying, hey, what's up with you? Are you retired?
Any chance he gets, he sings God Bless America at like any celebration, like loud.
It only made sense that the lover of God Bless America ended his career as a Patriot, playing for Bill Belichick.
Guys, who's 47 out there for the Patriots getting in the mix, huh?
Former Buck John Lynch.
I thought Denver would be my last stop, but I always said, man, if I had an opportunity to come here, this would be a place I'd love to play. Right away, I felt, oh no, I had such a love for the game. And I kind of was out there going, what am I doing here? At a certain point, I said, Bill, I'm done. And I said, but I want to do one thing. And we were playing the Giants in preseason. I said, I want to play this last game. He goes, you understand this is our 4th preseason game. You'll be playing with like free agents, guys that aren't making the team. We just got to get through this game. I said, Bill, I want to play.
John Lynch on the field right now, a 9-time Pro Bowler.
You know, I blitzed one time when I wasn't supposed to blitz.
Carr under pressure from John Lynch.
I had tackles all over the field.
And that was John Lynch, the 16th-year pro out of Stanford who made the tackle.
Played the physical game.
John Lynch on the tackle.
I don't know if I've ever had more fun playing a game just because I let it all go. I knew it was my last time. And we'll always be grateful to Bill for allowing me to do that.
So I hear you're retiring from football just so you can become the next governor of Colorado.
Oh, well, here's what I'll say about that. I'm not closing the door on anything because I have no clue what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. My first year, I just said, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to become Mr. Dad. Come here. And I remember one day I was taking the kids to school, and one day all the moms, you know, who I'd gotten to know really well, I said, hey, we all go for a walk on Thursdays. Do you want to join us for a walk and coffee? And I came home. I said, Linda, I got to go to work.
They haven't played the run well. They better if they want to win today.
I think that confines him. It restricts everything. It makes you tight.
I was in the game in terms of calling it. I loved every bit of it. But at the end of a broadcast, there was no scoreboard. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, you miss that.
And he's not Charlie Checkdown. He's getting.
It should come as no surprise who helped Lynch find a path back to competition.
After my playing career was done, we still lived in Denver, and I was spending a lot of time with John. He had taken the jump to run the Broncos, and he asked me to do some things for him. The first year it was, hey, could you watch the safeties? I'd love another set of eyes.
It'd be the off season, and he's back in his office, like watching film for like 8 hours, and it's like, what are you doing?
John was blown away, dude. I just wanted your opinion, like who's a good safety, and you're giving me 30 guys and long write-ups and, you know, color-coded and all this. And next year he said, why don't you do safeties and corners? The following year he invited me in to go through their draft process. And I saw how excited John was being invested, being back in the game.
I hadn't studied you guys until this week.
At the same time, Lynch was trying to get back in the game.
You're doing a hell of a job too, man. Keep it going. I appreciate it.
Falcons offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan was a hot head coaching candidate. Lynch called the son of his former coach with a proposal.
He's like, hey, Kyle, I don't want to put you on the spot. Trust me, just laugh at me and tell me no. But I mean, I've watched Elway do this over the years. I've been there in a couple off seasons. I really have a passion to get in football, and I've always been a fan of yours. I love doing your games. I've watched you over these years, and I really believe that we could be a good pair together. He didn't want to do it to be famous. He didn't want to do it to like get his name back out there. He wanted to do it for one reason, and it was to win a championship.
If I was a free agent player right now, what would be your recruiting pitch to me on why I should come here?
You like winning, because we're going to do that.
I always felt for Linda and the kids. I mean, they had it made. Their dad was working 3 days a week. He tells them that he wants to go be a GM, and they all come up here, and we're 0-9 going into our first year, and I'm just like, you having that much fun? And it's like, oh, this is a grind. This is tough. But I think that's also what he signed up for.
How you like it?
I'm having fun.
Is it a lot different?
It's hard.
I remember when he was chosen as GM, people said, but he's never been a general manager. He's never been a front office person. And I remember thinking, don't underestimate John Lynch. He'd never been a safety. He'd been a quarterback. He did that awfully well. And he's going to do this very, very well, too.
You've done a nice job, man. Thank you. Real nice job. I figured the defense would be good. I told our team, I said, listen, this defense is going to be wound up because I know the guy behind the guy. I got it. You're crazy.
Go, man. Come on, man. Go, man. Have some fun out there.
After winning just 10 games in their first 2 seasons, Lynch and Shanahan turned the 49ers into NFC champions in 2019.
I didn't know we'd be meeting this soon, did you?
Nah, I didn't. Kyle and I, we trusted each other. We came up with a vision of what we were looking for. and we worked as a team. And when you work as a team, great things can happen.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. He is going to be one of the really great front office people in NFL history. I'm real proud of you. Congratulations. Yeah. Because he's bringing a kind of creativity and willingness to take risks.
Hey, Trey Lance.
What's going on?
You ready to do this thing, man?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the 49ers, buddy. So happy to add you to our family, buddy.
Lynch traded a king's ransom to draft quarterback Trey Lance. Only time will tell if that risk was a wise one. But Lynch knows that sometimes the wait is worth it.
I was not going to completely be satisfied with my induction into the Hall of Fame until he got in.
To see it come to fruition, I was just like, yeah, right. It's like football justice. I've known it for 20 years.
I love you, man. Love you too. Do your thing.
I love that guy. It's cool to see the general manager from the 49ers now, and I go, 47 red. That guy was something too, 47 red.
Let's have some fun today, man. Let's have some fun. Woo!
That's what I loved about football. I'd get on that field, and all of a sudden I could become a different person. You could go be a fool for 60 minutes. You could go live free, and that's what football allowed me to do. Yes, a lot of hard work went into that, but you're exposed to people and experiences that you otherwise would have never had an opportunity.
Part of Lynch always will be 47 red. But with his new team, he has a new nickname.
I call him Captain America. That's to me how he acts. He loves America, but he also is kind of too perfect. And most people I've met like that in my life, eventually after 3 days, they're like, oh, they're not so perfect. They're a little phony. No, John, it really is Captain America.
I wouldn't have been surprised if John had been, instead of general manager of the 49ers, maybe would have been president of the United States someday.
Tonight, I advocate that we take the lead of football and huddle up as a people, as a great nation. Let's find the common ground through our shared values. Let's celebrate and learn from our differences. Derek Brooks from Pensacola, Florida. Warren Sapp from Apopka, Florida. And John Lynch from Solana Beach, California have. So too can all of you.
Leader off the field, classy dude, but a real different animal on game day.
Turns out Warren Sapp was right. John Lynch is a dinosaur. And now he's in the museum where he belongs.